Over to Garima.
Healthcare is yet another topic of interest for this session, which is both interesting and today's most concerned sector, all due to COVID. All utilities like ventilators and other essentials are looked after by healthcare sector. Moving forward with no delay, let's introduce our generous speakers with their audience. Starting with Sri Anil Bhatia. Sir is an alumnus of 1975 batch and a director of Supramed Medical Equipments Private Limited, which is a private incorporated on June 26, 2009. It is classified as non-government company and registered at Registrar of Companies, Delhi. Next comes Sri Pradeep, who is another alumnus of 1981 batch. He is a business owner of Angel International Incorporation, which is subsidiary of Sotafi SA France. This is an excellent company which ensures best quality of healthcare solutions to expand spectrum of medical facilities. A further discussion will be initiated with Sri Varun Gulati, welcoming a 2004 batch pass out with more than 16 years of experience in manufacturing, IT consulting, outsourcing, artificial intelligence, robotics, and healthcare industry. His head start was pharmacy retail, and now he deals with trading of healthcare devices and other medical supplies to both corporates and government institutions. Moving ahead in this session, I feel truly privileged introducing Sri Anil Bareja sir, without whom this session was only a dream. Anil sir is an MLS of 1976-80 batch with more than 40 years of experience with educational background in mechanical engineering, commerce, and marketing management. Well known in solar and polymer industry, along with rich experience and expertise on a wide variety of industrial projects in multiple domains. Sir have a professional networking globally of 5,000 engineers, scientists, and highly placed professionals in both science and technology. Now, Sanchit will further tell you about this discussion.
Thank you, Garima. I would now like to initiate this discussion with Sri Anil Bhatia's opinions. Please, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. Good evening, everybody. Let me first thanks to the Vice Chancellor of YMCA Institute University, Mr. Dinesh Singh ji, my seniors, and my colleague, Mr. Anil Bareja ji, and the juniors who are the upcoming engineers of our institution. I first thanks to everybody, thanks to you giving me an opportunity to speak on the healthcare. In 1980, when we passed out from the YMCA Institute of Engineering, at that time in India, the healthcare was it was an upcoming field in India, because before that, it was not a very big healthcare equipments were available in Indian hospitals, and only government hospitals were there for treatment of people. And when in 1981-82, there was a non-alignment movement summit of the South Asian countries in India, and then Prime Minister, late Shrimati Indira Gandhi, she decided and she was given an opportunity to help this non-alignment movement in the India. At that time, she decided to upgrade the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, Safdarjung Hospital, GB Pant Hospital, which are the main government institution in country, to be updated with the healthcare latest equipments. Then later on in 1986-87, the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, Government of India, taken the decision that now beside government, some private hospitals should also come in India. And that time, if we remember, Scots, Apollo, and other groups have started coming in India. And lot of medical equipments started coming into the India. A treatment for a doctor, treatment depends on the diagnosis and pharmaceutical medicines. And in 1895, the first X-ray machine was developed by Dr. Wilhelm Röntgen. And then up to 1980, there was no much medical equipments in India. Only Japan and USA, they were holding all medical diagnosis equipments over there. When in India, this medical equipment started coming over there, it was, okay, we need all medical equipments, the diagnosis equipment, the laboratory equipments, and the critical care equipments. Because doctor, when we go to the doctor, if we are having some temperature over there, we are having some BP problem over there, the doctor first of all takes you for the ECG, temperature, BP, what is your respiration, and how much oxygen we are consuming, what is the saturation level of our oxygen. All this parameter is to be taken into account before taking the treatment, before giving the treatment to the patient. And now our medical industry, our healthcare, our electronic industry has played a major role to diagnose these diseases over there. So the companies have come with imaging, the X-ray, digital X-ray, CT, MRI, gamma camera, and then for other diagnostic, ultrasound, echocardiography, ECG machine, EG, for laboratory blood testing equipments, for critical care, ICU equipments, monitors, ventilator, defibrillator, all these equipments have come, and these all are developed by the engineers. And this plays a very big and important role for the diagnosis of the patient and very helpful to the doctors to diagnose the patient disease over there. And today, if we see, if a person have temperature or have any problem, he is immediately taken to the ICU of the hospital. In ICU, we are providing them the bedside monitors, ventilators, blood testing equipments, ultrasound equipments, all are available on the bedside of the patient. So the doctor, it gives a very comfortable and ease to the doctor to diagnose the disease and to give a treatment to the patient. And these treatments are given to the patients, and depending on all these engineers only. And you engineers, those who are giving this facility to the doctors for the diagnosis of his patient disease, it gives a very big relief to the doctor. And today, if you see any hospitals, all the hospitals, if a patient is there, he has to take all this diagnosis over there. And all electronic engineers, they are having very helpful to the doctors for this treatment. Now, after COVID-19, this which has been since last 7 to 8 months, say February onwards, in India also, in March 22nd, our Prime Minister decided to completely shut down over there the whole of the country. At that time only, the medical industry, medical facilities, medical hospitals, they were allowed to operate over there. We were also given the special passes to provide the services to the hospitals, to the patients, for their ICU, for their diagnostic, for their laboratory. If we go to this, you have to very helpful to the doctor.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sorry to interrupt you. We loved hearing you, sir, but there is a time constraint. So if you could.
Okay. Let me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sure. I will try to finish. End of the day, I will like to tell all our upcoming engineers, this field gives a very big opportunity to all of you to help the patient, to help the doctors in your medical industry. And we are having lot of opportunity. We are having all the carrier facilities over there for this medical equipments. All my engineers, all my upcoming, my generation engineers, those who are in electronic, those are studying digital electronics, those who are studying come to this field and help to the doctors, to the society for their better treatment and their better health care. This all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was very much informative. Moving on this virtual mic to Shri Pradeep Mehra for his opinion. Sir, please.
Hello. Hello, are you able to hear and see me? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
And am I visible too?
Yes, sir.
All right. Dear organizers, thank you very much for having me on the panel. Respected Vice Chancellor, Sir, Dr. Dinesh Kumarji, respected seniors and dear participants. I'm here to express my perspective on the subject. My endeavor would be to demonstrate the process of clearly understanding the crisis and doing adequate research to evolve solutions, with the objective to derive opportunities out of the solutions which are evolved to eliminate the crisis. Please allow me to run through few slides and engage ourselves in identifying the cause of crisis. Then only we can research and evolve solutions and format them in them as the opportunities.
So you can share your screen.
Yes, I'm trying to do that. Well, you see, my presentation will be absolutely marketing oriented. You've all heard pure hardcore technology, discussion presentations. I don't know why it's not coming. Yes, all right. Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, it's
can you
visible.
see? I don't know how to remove my part. Anyways, are you able to, are you seeing this overlapping also? No.
No, sir.
All right. Well, you see, I have been into the marketing profession for 40 years now. So you have heard of hardcore engineers and engineering lectures. You would hear hardcore marketing presentation from me. I have been, I'm 1981, alumni from YMCA Institute of Engineering. And I specialized in welding and sheet metal technology. I served in this trade for 10 years, but during my, tenure of this 10 years in the welding and sheet metal technology field, I got the opportunity to learn further international trade. And thereafter, I have been into the international trading. And it's been like now, 40 years. Now, coming back to the subject, as I said, that we have to first identify the cause of the crisis. Now, everybody has read coronavirus, but you see, for the purpose of deriving the conclusions that I am here for, the COVID-19 or the coronavirus is an infectious disease. Coronavirus spreads primarily through the droplets of saliva or discharge from the infected patient. 1 minute, you see, I have blocked some of my screen, so I'm not able to see what to do. 1 minute, sorry for this. Okay. All right. So we have seen what is coronavirus, what is the crisis. The crisis is of the infectious disease which primarily, spreads through the droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. People who are in close contact, say within 1 meter, with an infected person can contract COVID-19. As infectious droplets get in through nose, mouth, and eyes, right? So we see that the COVID-19 contraction takes place through nose, eyes, and mouth. And it is coming through the aerosols which are, floating in the air. The disease transmission route is the very small droplets of aerosols that are able to stay suspended in the air for longer periods of time. These aerosols can contain COVID-19 virus. These aerosols may potentially be inhaled by others if they are not wearing proper personal protective equipment. So we have seen that these aerosols are floating in the air and they're coming, infecting us through our nose, eyes, and ear. So what we should do? It is observed that the outbreak COVID-19 is in more close settings, such as offices, restaurants, nightclubs, places of worship, or places of work where people are maybe sitting close by, or places where people are shouting, talking, or singing. Aerosol transmission occurs particularly in these indoor locations where there are crowded and inadequately ventilated spaces, where infected persons are spending long time with the others. So thus we identify that transmission routes are airborne through aerosols, physical contact, that could be through handshake, hug, etc. Fomites are inanimated objects that are contaminated with the infected agents like doorknobs, walls, switches, floor pans, etc. and etc. So now we have identified our problem. In order to come to a solution, we must know what the problem is. The problem is in the air. The problem is floating all around us. So we need to get ourselves disconnected with this environment. I found a very beautiful, picture on the presentation on the CDC government coronavirus, and so the source is given below. He says that he has very nicely demonstrated that a graph which is going from protection to control and then to elimination of the problem. The first stage is PPE. That is what we are now using. You see, we are using PPE, the masks, the overall covers, and so on and so forth, so that we can remain, disconnected with the problems. So here we see this. He has given the. If we read the solution model, it is from protection to control and then to the elimination. Now, what are the protection tools? See, we are trying to evolve an opportunity or solutions. These are the solutions that we have seen for a crisis. The protection tools are PPE. These include face masks, isolation gowns, sanitizers, eye protection goggles, shields, gloves, powered air purifying respirators, ventilators. These are the products that reduce exposure for people by placing a barrier in between the hazard and the people who are infected, all right, or the people who are healthy. Then second is the administrative control. What government has followed is an administrative control by introducing lockout or work from home system, where the employer modified the working practices and policies that reduce or prevent hazardous exposure. So this is again a prevention or a protection, one of the protection tools.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, but because of the time contraction.
Well,
Please give us
well,
the
then what
essence
I will
and
do is
conclusion, sir, in 1.5
I will
minutes
come to the
around.
conclusion. Yes, I will come to the conclusion. All right. The conclusion is that briefly I've been able to demonstrate as to how we arrive at solutions and how we are converting the solutions, I mean, deriving opportunities out of the solutions. So I find that there is a huge potential for the following products and services to support already established PPE and upcoming manufacturing units from healthcare industry perspective. The melt blown fabric. This is the fabric which is actually a filter within the layers of the mask. Now you may have n number of fancy masks, N95 or so on and so forth, surgical masks, but unless you have a good quality melt blown fabric in between, you may not be actually protecting yourself. So there is a vast potential to set up a factory for melt blown fabric. Mr. Bareja has done a lot of research onto it, and he may be even be able to guide you to how to set up the factory. Then comes the sanitizers. Sanitizers are again the protection tools. Now you would find that sanitizing booths and tunnels would become mandatory for before you enter into any kind of establishment. And some people may even like to put on their doors. So there is a huge potential which is coming up for this particular product. You can set up a factory to make these. Then bipolar ionizers for air purification. Now this is a control system. If you purify the air, then you don't need the protection tools. So here also I have seen Mr. Bareja has imported certain equipment which are bipolar ionizers. Maybe he will talk in his presentation. Then ultraviolet COVID sensors. Ultraviolet COVID sensors are again the instruments which, when you enter an aircraft, you have to pass through that, and if you are infected, they will not allow you to enter. So these are again protection tools or identification tools or control tools. Then of course vaccines are elimination tool. Once you have developed a vaccine, then you have developed so much of immunity that you are protected from this virus. Sixth thing I see is B2B platforms for e-commerce. Now, since we were all bound into our homes, we couldn't move out. Many of us who had not started doing business on e-commerce, B2B platforms have developed a confidence within the consumers, and you will find so many more B2B platforms are coming. All these products that you may like to get into you must obtain certifications from designated agencies, which are very much mandatory to make it absolutely useful for the for the consumption or use on the human beings. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was very much informative and very much helpful for us to fight against this pandemic. Now, moving on this virtual mic to Shri Varun Kulati for his opinion. Sir, please.
Hello everyone, can you see me? And
Uh, yes, sir.
okay. Uh, First of all, I would like to thank Anil Bareja sir and Director sir and Vice Chancellor sir and other alumni for giving me this opportunity to talk about the subject on healthcare. So let me just give you some background and then we'll start on that. So I am currently working with Genpact as a digital transformation lead for healthcare, and I have been into this industry pretty much in consulting as well as digital transformation and majorly into the healthcare vertical. And I have worked with Indian and uh, American clients. And if you talk about some of the American clients, which is, I could quickly name out some of them: Sanofi, Novartis, Merck, Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer, and many more. And during this pandemic, some of the key things which I have seen is that the potential of this industry has really, has grown up like anything. And I'll just share my screen. So these were some of the things which, if you see on my screen, some of the key four areas where when we see in pandemic in coronavirus, these were four categorization of healthcare industry, where which were needed during this healthcare during this COVID. So first is protective gears. When we talk about protective gears, we have PP kits, N95 masks, sanitizers, ionizers, which Anil sir will talk about. These are the next coming things. Then from a medical equipment perspective, the scope, the opportunity we had was ventilators. There are a lot of uh, Indian companies which have, and IT companies and other small mid-sized manufacturing companies who have started ventilators. There is a huge potential, and it will continue to evolve. Oxygen sources, laboratory equipment, critical healthcare. So entire infrastructure of medical has seen a major revamp. So, uh, so entire Indian. So while we are a developing economy, we need a solid infrastructure, medical infrastructure, to handle such kind of pandemic. And many sources, many people are saying that this is not the first, and this is, while it is the first, but it is not the last one. So this field is going to evolve. We, as a country, we really need these medical equipments, innovation in the medical equipment. Then comes the pharmaceutical medicines. There are a lot of trials which are happening to get coronavirus medicine. And overall, if you see about pharmaceutical industry, this pharmaceutical industry, and I have some American, US, in terms of numbers, every year on year, if you see the graph, YOY, every company, the top 10 pharmaceutical companies have grown like anything. So, and they were all in reds, but now if you see, everybody has grown up. So these pharmaceutical industry will continue to grow, not just this time, not just in pandemic, it will continue to grow. And I would like to, while I'll not spend too much time on the first three, but I would spend on the fourth one, and spend time on the fourth one, looking at the time, and respected seniors have already talked about the first three. The fourth one, which is the diagnostic. Now, diagnostic is a key area, which basically we need a cheap, accurate, and easily available diagnostic. One is, of course, the testing kits we are having, but the other area which is really industry is moving across. And when I work with clients, some of these big clients, some of these big companies, and some of the Indian companies, everywhere industry is moving into see how can we start proactively managing our health, proactively ensuring how can we say, can I understand what is the disease I have. So if you see in coronavirus also, in the initial phase, there were a lot of casualties where we were not able to detect the problem with the patient. And there are many news in the market where people were not even people, while they were having the test was conducted, but the were, we used to get report from somebody, put your mic on. Thank you. Okay. So I think this is the area of our young engineers to look at. This artificial intelligence is not just to understand, it's also going forward. It's not just COVID, it is a way of life in future. And I'll just take you through, and I'll talk about some of the problems, which this industry is facing, which we can solve about. Supply chain is another big problem, which our seniors talked about, that 40% of the medicines were or critical medicines, due to the improper and lack of facilities in supply chain, those were either those medicine has to be flushed out, you know, those were scrapped. And I'll just take you through, for our young engineers, one video which industry is going through. As I lead the digital transformation for Genpact for healthcare, this is the way of life. This is not just for when we talk about for diagnostic. It's in the entire healthcare, whether it is supply chain, you have an IoT plus artificial intelligence going across. It's in the third party when you have your when your distributors network, everywhere this artificial intelligence is going. I'll just take you through this video. Just have a look at this video.
Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, I have a sore throat. What should I do? This is Bertalan Meshko, and you're watching the channel of the Medical Teachers. I woke up in the morning with a sore throat. I immediately turned to my voice assistant to ask for help. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Bertalan. How can I help you today?
I think I have a sore throat. What should I do?
That doesn't sound good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Could you point the camera at your throat?
Sure.
You have a sore throat. Nothing serious. You should have a fruit salad and a yogurt for vitamin intake, chamomile tea with honey and throat drops for easing the pain.
Oh, thank you.
I will monitor your vital signs through your skin patch, and if I discover any change, I will make an appointment to your doctor.
Shall I work today?
It would be best for you to rest. But don't worry, we will take care of this together. You are in good hands.
Wow. Chatbots will be the first line of primary care in a decade. They will be able to respond to simple medical questions with useful advice. They can track patients' health, parameters, and help make sense of their data. They support medication management and give recommendations about drugs. In some cases, chatbots can also connect patients with clinicians for diagnosis or treatment. During the entire process, there is no need for patients to go.
So I'll just stop here, and okay, I will not go to the entire video. So if you see this, while there are various kind of chatbots available, which simple chatbots available, but if you see where the industry is going, the person he has taken out his mobile camera and has taken it through to near to your throat, and the chatbot has looked at, and it has told you that, okay, yes, you have a problem. Now, what is the technology which is being used here? I'll leave it to you, but let me tell you, it is the computer vision technology which is being used here, where it actually it actually look at the image, and it has a machine learning algorithm in the background, and it will tell you that what is the condition of your throat. So future industry diagnostics will be of two types, a critical and a non-critical. For all the non-critical diagnostics, you will see these kind of AI chatbots, AI kind of computer vision, neural network, and all those. And to my young engineer fellows, computer engineers, electronics engineer, mechanical, everyone, I think this is the industry to venture, and this is the right time for you to venture. Whether you get into the equipments, whether you get into the whether you get into the equipments, medical equipments, supply chain, whether you get into the diagnostic proactive, whether you get into I think shorter lead time, shorter lead time introduction in the market, how can we do it, which can also be solved through AI, by the way. So these are the 4 problems which we really need to solve out, and this is the market, and this is the right time for you to venture into this market. Look at what is your area of interest if you want to venture into this market. If you want to go to supply chain, if you want to go to the medical equipment infrastructure, you can start a business. While I work, I have another business, a part-time business. I have a pharmacy running across, and I'm planning to have more pharmacies within the city, and another distribution channel which I'm planning to set up. But there is that's something which is there. But the diagnostic part, this learning part, my fellow engineers, I think this is the area of interest that you should venture in. Okay. And that's where we will have future. So I'll just give you one example. How now this was a extract from IIT Kharagpur. What?
So sorry, but there's a time constraint.
Okay,
I know this information is very helpful for us, but if you can conclude us about your views.
I'll just take 15
Thank you.
seconds. Thank you. So if you see this, how a simple example that diagnostic will work. First is while physical identification, AI will tell us that what is your condition, a possible match, and then once you conduct a sample, it will guide you to conduct a sample, and then AI will also tell you about your treatment based on your treatment and monitoring. It will continue to monitor. Uh, some of you might be knowing in Samsung mobile there is an oximeter already fit in, so you get oxygen levels. And this is just an example. There are a lot of technologies where in future everything will be available either through your AI chatbots, or it is available through your mobile phones, or physically your contact with either to laboratories or to your doctors will be minimized. And for non-critical care, you will have these technology interventions available. So to my fellow people, this is to engineers, so this is an area which you should definitely look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was very much informative. Now, moving on this virtual mic to Shri Anil Bareja for his opinion. Please, sir.
Thank you. Now, regarding this healthcare, see, the current situation has definitely changed our lives, and our daily life and whole system has altered in many directions. Whether it is our daily living life, health, profession, trade industry, even our thought process. There are so many reforms and transformations in all these fields with new beginnings and some endings and all. And above all, the healthcare has taken a front seat due to this pandemic. And healthcare is not limited to how to adopt our steps for cleanliness, but for the trade and industry also. And industry trend has also changed with new products, new machineries, and opportunities, and new and emerging of new industries also. Now coming down to this mask and this non-woven industry, mask and non-woven industry was already there in India for last 2 decades, but was earlier 2 decades back. It was in a very small scale, and all the non-woven fabric was being imported from China. Incidentally, I was in this polymer industry, and I was too much involved in bringing this industry in self-reliance in India. And in 12 to 14 years, we set up almost 400 industries all over India, where from we were importing all the non-woven fabric, and China was having a good maritime earning from us. By 2014, the almost 400 industries of China were closed, and almost 400 industries in India started new industries by making non-woven fabric. Mask was also there. I also did some mask project, but it could not be successful because our traders, importers were importing masks from China in very cheap prices, and that industry could not grow. Though I did some project also in that. This industry has suddenly grown, and we see a lot of good future in this and setting up this new ventures into this mask. Although the mask being made in India, I would say 80% of masks, wrong masks are being made, and 90% of people are using wrong masks. This is another a big subject, and my there is a YouTube where I have spoken about mask, which mask is good and which mask is not good. As Pradeep had mentioned about melt blown, so melt blown fabric is the filter membrane which has to be used, and it is not being used in 80% of masks, especially the three-ply mask. People are using N95 mask, which is a wrong mask to use in general. It has to be used only inside the hospital, in labs, by surgeons or by for testing and all. In general use, only three-ply mask with middle layer of melt blown fabric, which is the actual filtration, is more than enough, and people are totally wrongly using the mask. This three-ply industry has a great scope in India. अभी क्या export is partially banned. In fact, partially क्या almost we can't export much. Only a few crores we can export. And when this export opens, then the whole world wants these things from India. They don't want from China. There are so many inquiries all over the world that they want these masks from India. Now coming to this PP industry again. PP industry actually, the name is different, but these things were already made in different parts, in different pieces. We used to make coat, we used to make head cover, shoe cover, and all these were separate. But due to COVID and more precaution, this is made in just one, which is known as PPE kit. So this also has a big future, and is going to have a big export potential. So manufacturing of this is also another industrial thing. Then I would come to this a pandemic has brought many new industries like sanitizers, disinfectants, equipments for all these things, UV protection systems, UV protection disinfectant boxes, UV conveyor belt systems. And I would come to the latest thing, which is a plasma air purification, bipolar purification, you can say bipolar. It's a virus-free. Uh, it makes the virus-free environment, and this was the technologies from NASA. They used to make this, and they used to do this ionizer for spaceships to keep these astronauts in virus-free conditions, and for special testing labs and all. It was used for that in Germany and in US by NASA. Then it came to Germany, and this pandemic has made this as an essential item, and we are now importing these things. We are getting it assembled in Singapore, and we are getting it in India. This makes the complete environment. And before that, I would say that even the train made by a railway coach factory, Kapurthala, they made COVID coaches for COVID patients, and made inside the environment as a COVID-free environment by plasma air purifiers. These are ionizers. Basically, they emit ions, negative and positive ions, which completely kill the virus present in the environment. I'm using in my house, and having a great feeling in that. That also purifies the complete area from pollution. And pollution, of course, is just its minor function, but main is killing the virus. So there are many things coming up, and there are this plasma is considered to be the ultimate solution at the moment. These things, many things may also come up, and ultimately we would need more engineers for marketing, for production, for all these things. So here is the things that lies the opportunities for young engineers. And that is all I have to say. I have to be brief today in this session.
Thank you, sir. This information was very useful for us. And now for questionnaire round, Monica Di will take over. Monica Di.
Thank you, Sanchit. I think the discussion did certainly clear so many notions that we had in our minds. Also, we could not have got a clear perception than hearing the reality from people having more than 20 plus years of hands-on experience. So it's time to take some questions from chat window being posted by our audience. So let's start. Our first question is by Mr. Sanchit. India has topped again in number of most cases in any country again today, taken the second rank in total cases in any country and now behind only US now. Even after becoming self-sustainable in developing PPE kits now, how India will control this already rising corona curve after reopening lockdowns? This is for all our speakers.
Um, Anybody would like to reply, or I should reply?
I
Hello.
think you can give the best reply, Brajesh sir.
See, there are many reasons for it. And one of the reasons I had already explained in my talk also, that was number one, wrong use of mask. If you are not using mask with proper filter membrane, that mask is worth dustbin. It will not remove any virus. It will not save you or the other person from virus. It may save you from the dust particles in the atmosphere, that's all. So when people will use wrong mask, or if they will not use mask at all, as we have seen people listening, and if they will not remain, they will not keep distance between. I don't call it social distance. Social distance, actually, everybody is copying that word, social distance. Social. What does social distance mean? We are not distancing ourselves socially with each other. We have to distance ourselves physically with each other, not mentally or not socially. So I would say social distancing is a incomplete word. We have to maintain distance from each other, physical distance from each other, which is not happening. There are some political issues also, and that is the only reason why the cases have increased. Plus, that is not the only reason, of course, that is the major reason. Plus, people are not taking care how to save themselves and save others. I would say many people are not using the things which are required properly. Sanitizers which are coming are of absolutely low quality. You do not know whether it is really sanitizing or not. And I would say even wrong sanitizer are being used. Sanitization in many places have not been taken it seriously and not been done at all. And if at all done, then it is not done with a proper percentage of the disinfectant. These are the main reasons, and there are so many reasons, small reasons, that people are themselves not taking care much. Earlier they were so uh, uh, fearful, and today that fear is slowly going down. But that returns when when this problem comes to their home, or when their problems come in their relationship or in neighborhood, then they realize what we are doing. This is what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think Sanchit must have got a clear idea now. The reason only revolves around wrong use of mask, sanitizer, etc. And all that sir has explained now. So our next question is from Sudhanshu, mechanical fourth year. He is asking, China is experimenting a nasal spray as a COVID vaccine. Don't know the technicalities or effectiveness though. While we generally think of vaccine as tablets or injections, can we see such innovative steps happening in the country which isn't known to people in general for now but in future?
I think Anil Bhatia or Pradeep can probably reply better.
Well, you see, I think the Chinese people are trying too many things. Of course, India is very much capable of developing such, products. But you see, in what Bareja Sahib has just now said, that the reason why people are still falling sick, in spite of the fact that they're wearing masks, they're wearing wrong masks, they're wearing wrong sanitizers, they're using wrong sanitizers. Similarly, we do not have very strict or clear, directions by the drug authority, because sanitizers or any chemical which is used on the human body needs drug controllers approvals, and they have to set down or lay down the procedures. No such procedure that I have seen for a product of a nasal spray which is been laid down. So therefore, anybody who has to go into manufacturing may have to wait till this particular solution is also identified and useful for the consumption on human by the human beings. That's what I have to say.
Here I have to add one more point also. You must have seen the advertisement of Akshay Kumar wearing a mask. Have you seen any advertisement of Akshay Kumar?
Yes, sir.
He is using a wrong mask. I have tweeted to him. I have tweeted to all these celebrities who are showing wrong mask. Again, Akshay Kumar is wearing N95 mask. N95 mask actually is it makes you suffocate because you cannot take a proper breath. You cannot talk, and after some time, what you do is you just take out the mask a little bit and breathe the air. There, the purpose is defeated. So that is the problem in that. The N95 has 5 layers and it is very thick and it really suffocates. It has to be used for small hours, for less hours while during surgery or any testing and all. And that also in a clean environment. It is not to be used outside. So such...
Manager साहब,
हाँ,
एक क्वेश्चन मैं एक एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ रिगार्डिंग द मास्क.
कौन बोल रहे हैं?
सतीश चौहान.
हाँ बोलो.
सर, कल का ही मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है.
हाँ.
My son, he is in 8th semester of मानव रचना यूनिवर्सिटी, बीटेक.
हाँ.
मैं और मेरा बेटा विशाल both were in नैरो प्लेस. नैरो प्लेस में उसने एक मास्क यूज किया हुआ था और डबल लेयर था उसका एंड द कॉटन वाज वेरी थिक.
And cotton was?
जो कपड़ा उसमें लगाया हुआ था इट वाज लुक लाइक अ कॉटन टाइप एंड इट वाज वेरी थिक मटेरियल.
हाँ, so that is wrong mask. It is not required.
और नहीं हुआ क्या है, इट इज वेरी सीरियसली वेयर माय सन गॉन टू द टॉयलेट एंड ही फेल डाउन अनकॉन्शियस ओवर देयर.
हाँ.
उसको इतना चक्कर आ गया सर, उसका बीपी जो है ना हाई, जो अपर बीपी इट वाज 70.
करेक्ट.
इमीडिएटली आई हैव टू रश टू द हॉस्पिटल.
ये बहुत लोगों के साथ हुआ है
सर. इतना कल अभी मुझे याद आ रहा है कि मैं कल शाम को इतना डिस्टर्ब हो गया था, मैंने उसका मास्क निकाला है तब जाके उसने सांस लिया है, थोड़ा बहुत उसको होश आया है. एकदम ही ही वाज फेल टोटली इन्फेंट.
हाँ, यही तो प्रॉब्लम है। ये खाली उसकी बात नहीं है, कुछ लोगों की डेथ हो गई है इस चक्कर में, क्योंकि
मास्क के चक्कर में।
हाँ, मास्क के चक्कर में, क्योंकि वो
ओहो,
जब वो सांस नहीं ले पाते हैं, सारी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अंदर जाती है उनकी, और वो ये इट लीड्स टू दीज प्रॉब्लम्स।
कल मेरे साथ खुद हुआ है ये सेम प्रॉब्लम।
बस वही बात है ना। तुमने तुमने मेरा वीडियो नहीं देखा, अगर मेरा वीडियो देखा होता तो कभी भी वैसा मास्क नहीं यूज करते।
नहीं, ठीक बात है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है सर ये हमारे लिए, बर्निंग के लिए।
You must only use three-ply masks. They are the most, the best, masks for protection.
3-ply mask which has a melt blown fabric inside in the middle layer। एंड एक और चीज आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूँ कि मेल्ट ब्लोन फैब्रिक की मशीन, ये जर्मन मशीन होती थी 200 करोड़ की, जो इंडिया में वायबल नहीं थी। सिर्फ एक दो मशीनें या 3 मशीनें यहाँ चल रही थी जो मोस्टली एक्सपोर्ट पे रिलाई करती थी। इस पैंडेमिक में चाइना से कुछ मशीनें आई और जो उन्होंने प्रोडक्ट बनाया उसकी एफिशिएंसी इतनी ख़राब थी कि वो फेल हो गई और वो पूरा प्रोटेक्शन करने में के सामर्थ्य में नहीं थी। In the meantime, because I have been in this extrusion line for all these years in polymer industry and into machineries, I have developed so many machines. I was also a technical advisor in developing this melt blown fabric machine, और हमने डेडिकेटेड जैसे एक फैक्ट्री 2 फैक्ट्री के लिए फैब्रिक मशीन्स जो 200 करोड़ की 100-200 करोड़ की मशीनें होती थी, वो 1.5 करोड़ के अंदर अंदर हमने एक बनाए जो सेल्फ रिलायंस में बड़े काम आए हैं। और उसमें हमने टोटली यूरोपियन और जापानीज सेंसर्स और इक्विपमेंट यूज किए विच गेव सेम रिजल्ट्स व्हाट जर्मन मशीन ऑफ 200 करोड़ वाज गिविंग। We got it tested, all melt blown fabrics were got tested. They gave 99.5 to 99.9% of efficiency. तो उसका उसका भी अब आने वाले टाइम में बड़ा स्कोप है। और उसमें उस इंडस्ट्री में ऐसा है कि अभी अगेन उसका एक्सपोर्ट अभी टू सर्टेन जो मास्क के लिए वो अभी बैन है, नहीं कर सकते। जिस दिन एक्सपोर्ट खुलेगा उस दिन इस फैब्रिक की बाहर की कंट्रीज में इतनी रिक्वायरमेंट है कि जो फैक्ट्री लगाएगा वो 2 महीने 3 महीने में अपना ROI निकाल लेगा, जितना इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो पैसा निकाल लेगा। तो ऐसे बहुत चीज़ें हैं जिसमें मैं भी इन्वॉल्व रहा हूँ, काफ़ी इसमें रहा हूँ, नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी देखता रहा हूँ। अभी जैसे मैंने बताया कि डाईपोलर, ये बाइपोलर आयोनाइजर और प्लाज्मा एयर प्योरिफिकेशन की मशीनें हम लाए हैं। इट इज़ गिविंग ए फैंटास्टिक, आई थिंक दिस इज़ द बेस्ट सोल्यूशन टुडे। मैं अपने घर में, मेरे घर में कोई आता है, अंदर एंटर करता है, मुझे कोई फिक्र नहीं होती, because as soon as he will enter, this machine is going on, as soon as he will enter, his entire, anything will enter, it will be sanitized, disinfected in seconds. Even if a COVID positive person enters, and he doesn't know he's COVID positive, enters, his outer body and everything will be absolutely disinfected. He will not transmit any virus. Even any droplets comes from his mouth will get killed immediately outside his mouth with these ionizers. तो मैं, कोई मेरे घर में आता, कहता हूँ उतार दो मास्क वगैरह, कोई चिंता नहीं है, बैठो आराम से। मैं जिसने 3 महीने 4 महीने इतना जो है केयरफुल रहा हूँ, एहतियात बरता है और घर के बाहर नहीं भी निकल रहा हूँ, वो अब केयर फ्री हो गया because of this new technology. Actually, it is not a new technology, as I said, that it has been made aware now. पहले सिर्फ नासा और ये important चीजों में यूज होता। But my thing is that business opportunity, employment, मेरा focus वो है कि employment opportunity, business opportunity is more into this. Even I have asked some of the faculty members कि जो भी लड़का है वो ट्रेनिंग के लिए मैं भेजो मेरे पास, मैं सोलर में भी ट्रेनिंग दूंगा और इसमें भी करेंगे और मैं इंसेंटिव बेसिस पे उनको जॉब भी दे सकता हूँ। So some people are coming also. So it's like that.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Because of the time constraint, we will stop the questionnaire round here. We will send the remaining question to respective speakers and will forward the answers to you people via mail. So thank you so much. This event was indeed fruitful. Before we put an end to the event, we wish to thank our Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dinesh Kumar, Professor Lakhvinder Singh, Dean Student Welfare, Shri Anil Bareja, our alumnus, Dr. Nikhil Dev, our Faculty Advisor, Professor Vikram Singh, Dean Alumni Welfare, Mr. Jitendra Kumar, Public Relation Officer, Chairman Mechanical Department, Professor Raj Kumar, Registrar, Dr. Sunil Kumar Garg.
We would also like to extend our gratitude towards all our guests of honor, Shri Ramanik Baba, Shri Raj Bhatia, Shri Naresh Kumar, and Shri Naveen Sood, and also our speakers for the event, including Shri Saurabh Yadav, Shri Sandeep Sachdeva, Shri Vikram Singh, Shri Kapil Agarwal, Shri Arun Bhatia, Shri Vinay Khungar, Shri Satish Chauhan, Shri Anupam Chauhan, Shri Anil Bareja, Shri Abhishek Sharma, Shri Sujoy Ghosh, Shri Sunil Gandhi, Shri Anil Bhatia, Shri Pradeep Mehra, and Shri Varun Gulati.
At last, can we all have a virtual clap for everyone who have been a part of this event? Okay, thank you so much, everyone. We seek to collaborate for many such events ahead. Till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you so much, everyone, again for joining us. It's time to leave.
Thank you. It was a great performance by you all students and a great program. And I hope you all got much more informative things from the seniors.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful to have you.
Thank you so much,
and
sir.
to work under your guidance.
Thank you. Thank you. You are most welcome anytime for any guidance.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Breja sir. Thank you, Pradhan ji.
Welcome, welcome.
प्रधान जी भी माइक ऑफ है सर आपका प्रधान जी का माइक ऑफ है
Thank you, Nikhil sir. Thank you everybody. Thank you.
ठीक है ब्रेजा सर आप कर दें सर ऑफ
हाँ बस कर दो
ठीक है सर थैंक यू जी